is happening, everybody? Welcome back to Tour Life. Today is August 19th. And do we have a great one for you? We are going to be having both world champions, Gannon Buhr and Ohn Scoggins, jumping on the podcast tonight. So some two awesome guests. We had some controversy go down in the playoffs in FPO. And then we also had some interesting things go down in MPO. So I think it was an overall pretty good tournament for Ledgestone. I think the coverage was much better than in the past over at Northwood. So it feels like they got that figured out. But we got Gary with us now, Yuli as well. Yuli, Gary, how's it going, guys?
Gary's
great. Spent a whole week out there at Ledgestone, did all the fun courses, went out with a bunch of people, stayed in a beautiful lake house. It was a fantastic week. I shot 3 personal bests on my tournament round, so I'm good.
Jeez,
good time.
Gary. Showing me and Yuli up. Jeez.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yuli, how was it?
My week was awesome. I actually got to bring the family out. And so we had our own little Airbnb, and I didn't get to spend a ton of time with them, but after every round, I got to go back and hang with my daughter and relax a little bit before commentary, and played okay. Nothing great. Just kind of some classic Yuli golf out there. I enjoy those courses, and I feel like I manage them pretty well. And so I got out of there with a 22nd finish, I think, it's decent, you know?
Yeah, not bad. My biggest thing, I was bummed about not making the cut just because I wanted another shot at Eureka. Played really, really poor the first day. Kind of learned some stuff though. Wednesday, this tournament will be a little bit different at Idlewild because it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But Wednesday is kind of a big day for me as far as like my workouts go, because I have a pretty tough run on Wednesday and I also have a lift. So I think those two things coupled with doing a full practice round at Northwood and then showing up to Eureka on Thursday, I was talking to Gary. My discs just weren't coming out of my hands at full power. And so certain shots I was expecting to go certain distances or flip or turn, they just weren't doing that. And then on top of that, I just didn't play well either. So it was kind of like the worst nightmare at Eureka. And then I followed it up with a pretty solid round at Northwood. It was one of those rounds, Yuli, I'm sure you've had tons of these, of where you feel like you're playing really well. You just aren't actually capitalizing and scoring. And so, what ended up being a 2 under round, I think could have easily been 6 to 7 under in that range. And I just wasn't able to capitalize on some of the easier birdies out there, missed some putts, threw some like pretty bad upshots on like some pretty standard shots. So that was a little frustrating. And then obviously round 3, Northwood kind of kicked my butt. So wasn't a great tournament as far as like where I finished and how my play was, but I do love playing those courses, especially Northwood. It's such a fun course to play because it's such a challenge. Like every round's different and you're constantly on your heels trying to figure out what to do. You have to play defense sometimes. It's a great course, really fun. All right. Well, we are going to get Gannon on first, and then Ohn will be coming on after that. Before Gannon comes on, just a couple things I wanted to kind of shout out. Gannon's now 5 wins into the season. He's made over $111,000 this year, which I think is pretty crazy. Really, when you look at it too, some tournaments, the payouts are lower than they've been in the past. So still really, really impressive. But there are a couple others. We're going to talk a lot about Gannon, obviously, when he comes on. But there are a couple rounds that I really want to give a little shine to and make sure we don't forget, because I think sometimes you can overlook some of these rounds, especially in a 4-round tournament. AB's first round at Eureka was phenomenal. 13 under par. He had 15 birdies, 2 bogeys, and 1 par. I mean, that's an insane round at that course.
Yeah, he looked really in control, honestly. It was a fun watch. It's crazy to see how consistent those guys are on courses like that.
Yeah.
Just they make it look like stock shots, and it should be stock shots. But I feel like a distance on that course, when you're able to throw slower into those fairways, throw, I think one of the things that is really overlooked with the top tier talent is how good they are with the putter
Mm.
as far as throwing the putter, like how they can land stuff so soft. And they're able to do that because of big distance off the tee. But I don't know, just watching him, like, throw, what is it, 3 and 4 back to back. Like those are ones you kind of want to get, but like they're tricky, man.
Yeah.
And to
Yeah.
get him, like, landing so soft down that left side on 4, especially turning it in there. I don't know. I feel like that doesn't get talked enough about, of how they really don't make a mistake from 250 to 300 feet
Yeah.
because of those putter shots.
The interesting thing between the two courses, and this is why I think Ledgestone is actually a great tournament, is the emphasis on tee shots is the same across the board. The tee shots are so important on both Eureka and Northwood, however, for different reasons. Eureka, it's either you're birdieing a lot of holes if you throw a great tee shot, or you're bogeying, right? It's just straight up. It's going to be a 2 or a 4. The 3's kind of out of the question a lot of times, right? And on Northwood, it's a little bit different, of where if you get off the tee, it's going to make the hole a lot easier, obviously, but you still have to a lot of times execute another really tough shot on these par 4s, right? They don't really give you Eureka. There's a couple holes, par 4s, par 5s, of where if you throw a great tee shot, you can pretty much just chip yourself in and give yourself a birdie look. And Northwood is kind of like, if you throw a great tee shot, all right, cool. You're taking out the big number, but you could still potentially bogey. You throw a bad second shot, you can potentially bogey as well. And so I think that's an interesting thing between the two, of where Eureka's like, man, if I mess this, I mean, I saw someone playing right behind us on the bridge hole, Yuli. They go OB, go to the drop zone, go OB, and you're like, all right, this guy's taking a huge number. Like just 2 bad shots back to back there. They can't get off the tee. They're taking a big number. And Eureka's a little bit different, or Northwood's a little bit different. You throw a bad tee shot and you can kind of decide, do I want to just take my medicine and just like play for bogey? Or you can go down the rabbit hole of like, well, there is a little gap here and I can maybe throw a crazy good shot. So I think it's interesting playing those two courses back to back.
And seeing how the pros are handling those courses differently over years. Because if you go back to Northwood prior to last year, because of the special case with Champions Cup and the kind of a different layout, you can see that the best rounds, like the best 2 rounds coming out of Northwood, were like 10 to 11 under for the 2 rounds back in 2023. And this year, the best 2-round combos were coming out at like 14 and 15 and 16 under for those players. So they're starting to understand the course more, and that greater skill level. I mean, if you just look at last year alone, Gannon won with a 38 under. He won with a 30 under this year. And this year he played Northwood Black 2 times and got Eureka all 4 rounds last year. So clearly the field is understanding these courses, and they're playing even more aggressively, but also correctly, it seems like, every single year.
Do you thought it played about the same the difficulty, Yuli?
Do I think it played the same difficulty? I didn't play last year, but I will tell you this from the times I have played it. The conditions this year were spectacular, other than the heat.
Yeah.
Like,
it was just really sweaty.
It was really sweaty. I think grip was an issue, but other than that, like, tee pads were perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And that's huge, because Northwood Black, it rains over there. That gets slippery everywhere down the fairway and everything.
Yep.
And so having good footing there is actually very, very useful, because the shots are so demanding.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go over to Eureka, no wind.
Yeah.
And when there's no wind, very little mistakes. So I think this year it actually played easier because of those factors. I do think people are getting better, without a doubt. And I do think that Northwood Black every year is going to get easier, because it's going to get cleaned up. There's going to be more and more limbs coming down. The grass is coming up, making scrambling better. You can throw rollers, sidearm rollers, to get back into position. So I think it's gotten a little easier, but I think we got really, really lucky with the conditions.
And I think people, to Gary's point, I think people, now that we've had this Northwood Black on the tour for a couple years now, people are starting to realize, like, I can't play disc golf, the disc golf that I'm used to playing. I can't play on this course. I can't just chuck shots and try to get distance all the time. Sometimes I have to just pitch to the fairway or pitch to the landing zone. I played with a lot of people that were playing like very smart layup shots versus going for that heroic shot, because that heroic shot is what gets you a double, a triple, a quad, versus that smart shot. Maybe you get the par still, but most likely you're probably just going to lock in a bogey. So I think some people are starting to play actual golf on Northwood versus just chucking it like we do in a lot of courses.
You have to think that there's some effect from watching Andrew Presnell at Champs Cup last year. Well, like the best players in the world are still going to be they're still going to be capable of throwing these incredible shots. You'd have to think that like the middle of the field to like the lower part of the field watches golf like that and says, you know what? I can pull off some of these safer shots. I can play smarter. And so while the top maybe doesn't change all that much, you have that middle part of the field slowly making improvements because they are making those smarter choices. Because they watch someone like Andrew Presnell and say, I can play golf like that. I can do that if I'm smart and make better decisions. So I think that's a big thing too that kind of goes untalked about.
Yep. The other two rounds I wanted to shout out both happened in round 3. That was from Luke Taylor and Isaac Robinson. Both of those guys ended up shooting an 11 under round at Northwood with no bogeys. 11 birdies, no bogeys. I don't know how many times I don't know how many times we're going to see double digits like that out there at a course. I mean, we only saw it, 2 out of what we have 160 people. We had 154 people in the field. So 155. So there was what? There was 310 rounds out at Northwood and only 2 shot 11 under.
Well, Marweed broke the 10 under mark too.
Did he shoot in the second round?
He shot it on the third round.
He shot 10 under. Yeah, him and Kyle Klein both shot 10 under.
Yeah.
But I was saying like 11.
You mean the 11? Yeah.
Yeah. I was saying, I mean, what do we think someone ever is going to shoot at the layout it's currently at, Yuli? Could you see anyone going out there and shooting 14 under? Yeah. I have a hard time believing it.
Definitely. I definitely see that. I mean, it's clearing out, man. I saw a noticeable difference
if it got
this year.
easier, yeah, sure.
And that's what's happening. It is getting easier. The Northwood that I played, 5-6 years ago, nobody was shooting like shooting a bogey-free round was impossible. Like that was, I think Cole Radalin might have been the first to do it, and it was like a thing, like who's going to be able to do it? I think I went through hole 17 bogey-free, and I took a double, and I remember it got to me because I was like, oh, I'm going to be the first to do a little bogey-free round. The round before, I shot 17 over par. So that course has changed completely from them, and I think it might be times of years too. Like just a little bit difference in the time of year that you go out there, the course completely changes. So if it keeps getting broken and the grass keeps coming up, like the course record will be 13, 14 under someday. I mean, people are just that good now.
Yeah,
we saw Ezra break out at Tampere with the monster.
Right.
So you have to think that it's definitely possible.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think it's a great course. Hopefully it stands the test of time. And, this is where, potentially players start getting really, really good. I wouldn't mind them, I always talk about Mandos. We talk about like wood planks and stuff like that to prohibit, lucky shots or people that miss the gaps that they're trying to throw and they still, advance. I think that's how you can maybe buff this course up if it starts getting too easy, which is crazy to talk about the course getting too easy, but
it's the hardest one we got.
It is the hardest course we got.
And Isaac went par to finish with the 11.
Yeah, with arguably 16 and 17 are 2 of the easier par 3s out there to get. And Marweed shot 10 under with 3 bogeys.
Yeah, he was on my card actually and did that.
Yeah. Wild stuff. Do we have Gannon yet? Potentially? I haven't seen anything from Mike, but we might actually have him.
Yo,
Oh, we do have him. Gannon, what up, brother?
Yay.
what's up?
Sorry for making you wait. I didn't know we had you.
Do you
First
want it
off,
the other way around or no?
yeah, if you can
okay.
turn it landscape mode. There you go.
Okay.
First of all, congratulations on your world championship. We haven't had you on the show since then, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations on Ledgestone as well.
Thank you.
I was gonna say we could have just waited like a couple of weeks and probably congratulate you on a couple other tournaments too, probably. But let's talk real quick. Obviously, I think you probably want to talk a little bit about what happened down at Ledgestone because especially with what kind of went down in the FPO, I think there is some correlation with rule calling and stuff on the MPO side that you might want to talk about. But before we do that, just talk to us a little bit about how it feels now, a couple weeks out of being a world champion. I think that was maybe the last big thing that you hadn't checked off on your list of things that you really wanted to get done. That was at least the highest thing on your to-do list to do. How does it feel to finally have that checked off?
Yeah, I mean, like I said in my interview afterward, it kind of just frees up, disc golf for me. I'm gonna have more fun, and I think there's just really no pressure anymore. I mean, you can kind of look at it as potentially I might need to, try and continue to prove myself. But for me, I've done enough of that over the last couple seasons to where, I obviously I know it like wasn't a fluke or anything like that. So for me, like I went out to Ledgestone and really felt no pressure. I also felt no pressure because I had no expectations just based on how much traveling I've been doing. So I kind of went into Ledgestone thinking like, well, I could get 40th or I could win. It's anywhere in between there. So I think that's just nice that you can play with a free headspace, and I was able to do that. And the big thing for me was conquering Northwood. I've always had mental battles out there, and I was able to play good there. So yeah, getting the worlds just frees up my brain basically, and I think I'm gonna have just more fun moving forward with less stress.
So you've been probably the most outspoken top of their game, someone that is everyone looks at as the best or one of the best players in the sport they're playing. I think you've been one of the more outspoken towards like the nerves that come in. I remember watching you doing like the little silly putting competition thing that you guys did before the Estonian major. And you could hear on the hot mic you talking about how nervous you were on a putt that was completely meaningless. Literally has no trajectory in your career, and you're like up on the platform being like, I'm really nervous right now. And you've been very outspoken about the nerves, and you've talked about it in past tournaments as well. Did after winning worlds now and going into Ledgestone and being in a position of where going into Eureka the final day, maybe the old Gannon would feel the nerves of like, I don't want to mess this up. I've got a big lead. Whatever. Has that gone away, or do you still kind of have those same nerves of wanting to play well, wanting to win?
Yeah, I mean, so the thing about the Estonia Disc Golf Festival, that putt I missed, it was like a 25-footer. Like I always get very nervous when I'm letting somebody down, is what it feels like. And that's also kind of like even when like Missy and I play mixed doubles at Worlds, like, and I have a 30-footer and it's on me when we play like the alternate shot round. Like I get so scared. I'm like, I don't want to let somebody down. So I think it's more of that. That's the fear for me. When I play singles, I don't care. It's like anything that I do is just back on me. I'm not hurting anybody else. I'm not disappointing anybody. I mean, I probably am, but it doesn't feel like that. It's more just, for myself. So
Fantasy people, man. You're
yes,
letting them all
I was
down.
thinking about that, the fantasy or the bets and stuff like that. But yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know if pre-world champion Gannon would be nervous. I mean, I just think I have such a solid game plan out at Eureka that it makes it so I don't really have to be nervous. There's only a few shots that I need to actually execute that are a little nerve-wracking for me. But you know, I never. I mean, I had at least a two-stroke lead at some point in that round. So if I got back to tied or even went back some strokes, I probably would have got some nerves. But I mean, like I said, like I won the world championship, and that was number one on my list. And if I do happen to lose a tournament, it's it sucks, but it's kind of whatever because I got the big one, and like I said, just gonna keep my mental game pretty good moving forward. I feel like.
Do you want to talk? Go ahead, Ely.
Do you have like after winning the worlds, do you have like ambitions of trying to track, because you're 20 years old. Do you have ambitions of trying to track down like, the 12 or the 6?
It
Does that
won't
come
happen.
into
The
your
12
mind?
won't
Or
happen. The 12 definitely won't happen. But I do think a good goal would be 6. I think that is achievable. I think that would be,
Like
you
one
know,
out of every 3 years.
yeah, I think that's completely reasonable, and I think it is achievable. I think that if I was able to get that and play at the same pace I am, I think I could potentially reach, go argument. And that's always been my goal, to cement my legacy as the best. And obviously, it's not something you can do overnight. It's going to take time. I'm doing all I can right now, and then time will tell. But I think that's definitely a reasonable goal. I mean, pushing 5 or 6 to, either get close or match Macbeth, and then potentially pass Macbeth would be a dream of mine. Depending on obviously what happens. I mean, he can still win a world championship, so his reign isn't over yet. But yeah, that's definitely a feasible goal.
You said
Go ahead, Gary.
You said in your interview before Worlds that if you won this one, you felt like you'd be able to rattle off almost the next 2 because of the favorable locations. Like, now that you've won, do you feel that even more so? Knowing that you're going to like the D-Glow area for next year and then going out back again to Oregon, which feels like 2 places that you've been extremely dominant at, especially Oregon. So are you even more cemented in that thought now that you have the first World under your belt?
I think so. I feel even better about those 2 events. Portland is just a place I love, but I also just feel so comfortable at. The courses just fit my game plan, and I think it's kind of the same situation like it is at in Europe. Like, if you give me enough rounds at those type of courses, as long as I'm not making any dumb decisions, I keep my head in the game, and my game feels somewhat okay, I should be able to give a chance for the win. The World Championships has always just plagued me in the past because I wanted it too bad, and I had to just really, really take a mental reset coming into this year's. And I think now that I don't have that pressure anymore, like if I lose, like I said, sucks to lose a Worlds, but there will be more chances.
Are you doing anything to prepare yourself for potentially like having a few off tournaments in a row? I know that's crazy to think about, but I'm trying to look at, Paul Macbeth's season a couple years ago when he hadn't won yet, right? And then all of a sudden you can kind of sense that he probably was building extra pressure because he's used to, I think it was 13 years of having seasons of winning. What we're seeing Kristen Lott kind of go through, where she jumps on the scene, everyone's like, she's the greatest FPO player of all time. All of a sudden she has a couple tournaments and we don't really know exactly what's going on, but clearly something is happening. Is there anything that you're doing to potentially prepare yourself for, or are you just assuming like, hey, the way I'm playing right now, I could see myself doing this for the next 10 years. There's going to be no, valleys that I'm going to have to work myself out of. How does that work when you're at the very top?
I mean, I think that's how I feel coming into every season. I just am a bit rusty. I think maybe part of that is just, I mean, everyone kind of is. You just don't have the tournament feel. But I've started the last 2 seasons only with 1 win in the first 7 events, I believe. So I'm not starting off hot at all. And I believe I didn't even give myself a chance until KC this year. I was just chilling around like 4th and 5th and just not getting it done. So I've been there, and I've been, really the entire Europe stretch, my game, especially at Des Moines. After I had one of the best tournaments of all time at Preserve, I go to Des Moines, and this started the stretch that I'm just finishing now. And I knew it was going to be a long month of just getting swamped with just a bunch of stuff, whether it's a media obligation or having to travel a lot, play tournaments every weekend, all that type of stuff. And at Des Moines, I was just in shambles about my game. My form felt terrible. Just mentally like wasn't in it, and then it kind of was that same way throughout Europe in terms of my physical game. I mean, I was talking to Yuli today at lunch, and I told him I went through 3 different putting strokes at Worlds because and probably 2 or 3 different backhand form cues, just because I couldn't figure anything out. So I had to will that win in, and it's tough to do that. But I think a thing that's going to help me moving forward is because I'm such a form nerd. Um, it's almost always a form problem, and if I'm able to find the problem and fix it, if I record myself a couple times, I think that's a big reason I've been able to stay consistent, is because I can always go back and fix what's wrong with the knowledge that I have, versus just having the natural talent and just throwing over and over. I really kind of formulated my game after just studying form, and then actually implementing that into my own game.
So you mentioned that you feel like one of the reasons why you've been as dominant as you have been is the consistency that you show. You go out there and you're never really having that one round where you basically shoot yourself in the foot, and then you have to have an incredible 3 rounds or to even have a chance of winning. And our stats guy, Edwin Stats, actually went and dug into this and found out that in 2024, so went back to your 2024 season, based on round by round performance, you were the most consistent player on tour in terms of scoring versus the field. And you also only won 2 events without shooting the hot round in any of those any rounds during the event. The other thing that I thought was interesting, because he kind of looked into this what he calls consistency index. So you were the highest one, basically meaning, you would shoot, let's say you shot 10 under all 4 rounds, your average would be 10 under. Someone else could shoot 5 under, 5 under, 15 under, 15 under. Their average also would be 10 under as well, but their index would be worse than yours because yours is right on the number, if that makes sense. So the other people that had a really, really, the highest index with you, Ricky was number 2 and Isaac was number 3. And then the people that had the lowest consistency, so people that are still shooting really good, but one round might be even par, the next round might be 15 under, AB, Simon, and Eagle were the 3 guys with the lowest ones, of where there's kind of all over the map. So that does kind of go to what you were saying of being one of the most consistent people on tour. Well, being the most consistent person on tour. But I do want to give you the floor now to talk real quickly just about the pace of play thing, because I know that's been something that's been a topic. It seems like this tournament kind of almost something like went over the edge with you, and you almost kind of were fed up with it. So I just wanted to kind of give you the floor now to kind of explain maybe some of the things that were going on during your rounds, and how that conversation is going moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. I can probably break that down in a couple minutes. So, yeah, starting off, day 1, nothing happened. And okay, I guess to start off, I want to say, whenever I talk about anything like this, I agree I need to be called. I'm actually agreeing that we should be called more. So that's my take on this. It's I just want fair calls from the marshals and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that I shouldn't be called. For anyone that's like, well, you just need to make sure you stay in the rule. Like, I agree. I 100% agree. So I just got to put that out there before anyone, gets mad at me for that. But yeah, so we have a marshal on a card, day 1. I'm not going to say the marshal's name, but day 2, same marshal. And at the end of day 2, I had no time warnings. And then on hole 18, Northwood Black, I'm like a little bit pinched from like the perfect line after my drive, and I'm in the fairway. And I run up to the top of the hill to go see where the basket was, and then run back down, and I throw my shot. And I wouldn't have done this if I was able to get a practice round in at Northwood Black. Not that that makes it okay, but I'm just kind of explaining why I did that. Because I just come back from China, so
it's also a blind shot. I think
yeah.
I think that's completely fair.
Yeah. So that happens. I throw my shot. If you include the running all the way up to the top of the hill, then back down and throwing the shot, I think it was around a minute to a minute and 5 seconds, somewhere around there. If you include everything. And I got called for a time warning right there. And I thought, yes, I guess it was valid, but I also was a little confused just because it was hole 18 and all I have left is a putt. I'm like, well, whatever. And the marshal comes over to me and he says, you need to play faster tomorrow. That's a time warning. Which I don't know. I get it, but I just thought it was a little odd. And I questioned him. I was like, well, was there a reason you didn't call the other players on the card? Because there was, two other players in the card that went over the time limit multiple times throughout the round as well. And so we kind of, later had a bit of like an argument in the parking lot after round two, just trying to kind of figure out what the rule is. I'm not going to go too much into the argument we had, or I guess we can say just discussion. But I'm advocating. I was like, I don't care that you call me. I agree you should call me, but everybody needs to be called on this. And I said I don't want to have any leeway given. If I go over 30 seconds, you break the rule. Simple as that. It doesn't say if you ever tricky lie, you get more time, or if you've consistently been worse throughout the day. That was one of his points. Was I was consistently worse throughout the day. The rule says nothing about that. It just says 30 seconds for the shot. And so that shouldn't have even been brought up. So I forget kind of how we left it on that note, but I agreed. I was like, I know you have a tough job. I get it, man. It's not good for either of us, but I'm going to try to play faster tomorrow. I'm going to respect your wishes. And so at the start of round 3, he announces, same marshal, he announces to the card that he'll be watching for excessive time. And he said that it includes if you use your rangefinder, if you walk up and look at the basket and come back down and go to your lie, if you change shot selection or disc selection, like when you go back to your bag and change your mind, that all counts towards your time. Once again, completely valid. But I thought it was a little bit weird that he had to state that because it's pretty obvious that's, the job of a marshal is to watch for that stuff. But he didn't mention the other jobs he had, such as watching for foot faults, starting a timer for a lost disc in the woods, or calling courtesy warnings. So, and we all know that foot faults just almost never get called. And I would argue they happen more than time warnings happen. They happen all the time, everywhere. But when all you're looking at is the watch, you're not going to see where the players where the player is actually stepping. So that's kind of a tricky one. But yeah, everything's fine. I started off birdie, so I'm playing quick. I'm obviously not getting into rough positions. Get to hole 3, same thing, played it pretty well. And then hole 4, I throw a forehand and kind of end up on the right side, about a foot out of the rough. And I have a tree like right in the middle of about 10 feet in front of me. And so I have to decide between a backhand patent pending and a forehand. And so I check out the backhand patent pending for about 10 to 15 seconds. And then I go to the forehand. And once I've decided I'm throwing the forehand, I'm chalking up and it's so sweaty out. I just can't get a grip on my disc. And I throw my shot and he comes over to me and he says, that was 42 seconds, time warning. And I was actually happy. I'm like, I'm glad you called that because that's what we talked about. I wanted it to be called right away, no leeway, and it didn't matter if I was quick or slow in the beginning of the round. And obviously I wasn't. Like, if I'd have been given some leeway, I probably wouldn't have got called. So I was happy that he actually called that there. But then to finish the piece of the puzzle, you have to call the other players if they go over on the same things. And I'm just going to say the name once again, just to make it easier, because you could figure it out anyway. But it's Paul Macbeth was the player that was kind of taken along for the rest of this round on a couple shots in specific. Now, he's not a slow player at all. He's actually a very fast player other than, a couple shots. But, maybe when he got into a tricky lie, he took more time. And so the very next shot, Paul takes around 40 seconds to throw his next shot and nothing gets called. And, I went back and I looked at the exact timestamp. So this is not just in my head. I'm actually looking at exactly how long it took. So whatever, I'm like, whatever, it's a no call. There will be another time that a player will go over 30 seconds during this round. So I wasn't worried about it. But I just start playing fast. I actually told my caddy, I'm like, if I get a time warning today, I'm just gonna start playing fast because just to almost troll. But just to kind of just prove to everyone like I can play fast or like whatever. And so I play really, really fast to a point where the cameras are kind of missing my shots. And I'm actually playing decent and everything's going fine and no one's going over the time. We get to hole 13 and Paul's short of the corner and he goes and it's kind of 13's like that S-ing par 4 with the pond. And so if you want to get a better view of where you want to throw, and you're short of the corner, you do walk up and look. And so I actually had, I didn't tell my mom to video, but she was videoing this just because she's obviously on my side for this debate.
For sure.
And so she's recording Macbeth throwing. She starts the video about 10 seconds late from when he started walking up, but he releases the disc at 45 seconds. So it's probably about a 50-second shot at least. And he walks all the way up to the corner, walks back, then goes to his bag, then throws a shot. So clearly, based off of what the verbiage that he said before the round and the reason that I got called in round 2, that should have been called for a time warning. So I go over to the marshal and I said, "Is there a reason you didn't call that?" And he says, "Well, maybe he was looking, at the see if it was clear or not." And I said, "It was obvious it was clear because it was clear as day. There was no one on the green. We were good."
Was he even going? Was he going for the green from his shot?
I think it was an attempt to go for the green.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he ended up throwing in the pond. He clipped a tree or something. But
and you also have a pretty good idea. You just played hole 12. You have a pretty good idea of where the group in front of you is.
Yeah, I mean it's it's a pretty long walk to hole 13, and by the time that we waited for the gallery, it was and we didn't wait on the tee pad, so it was obvious that it was clear, and you can kind of see through that corner of the woods too that it was clear. So once again, I'm a little frustrated that didn't get called, and the marshal said something to me, and I asked him what he said, and then he didn't repeat himself, and he kind of just walked away, and so I thought that was just a little disrespectful. I'm just looking for answers. I'm not trying to start anything. I just want to get to the bottom of this. So whatever, going through the round, hole 18, Paul kind of lands in a somewhat similar spot to me. I guess you could say distance-wise, he's a little more left of me, but not in the rough at all. And, he walks all the way to the top of the hill on 18, all the way back down. And once again, my mom is recording this, and it takes him, if you include all that time, about 1 minute and 10 seconds to throw the shot, which is about the exact same time I took to throw my shot, the exact same scenario where I walked up to the top, walked back down, threw my shot. I got called on hole 18, so there's no excuse that this should not be called, and no call. And so at this point, I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's too obvious. It's too obvious to me that I'm being targeted, in my opinion. And I know I'm going to get flack for saying that, but I just have evidence for it, and it doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm just looking for answers, and so that's basically the end of it. And I got interviewed and at DGN and said what I said. Obviously, saying that I wasn't mad that I did it. I'm happy that I stuck up for myself, and I'm not going to stand for unfair calls because it doesn't make any sense, especially when you're missing so many other calls. Like I said, foot faults were missed. Obviously I appreciate all the hard work that the marshals do and the Disc Golf Pro Tour crew, but I just want to make sure that it's fair out there. Like I said, I agree I should be called, but I think it needs to be called fairly for everybody. And final round, we had a different marshal, which I think was probably directly due to what happened day 2 and day 3. And that was the end of it.
Yeah, I think my standpoint on it is it's a black and white rule right now. It's not a judgment call. You see sometimes in other sports, maybe bigger guys, they don't get the same calls because someone bumping into them or hitting them, the bigger guy reacts differently than the smaller guy. And so the bigger guy always feels like I don't get any calls, right? You sometimes see that. And that's very much like you're looking at it, your perspective, and you're trying to make a right call. This is very black and white. You have a stopwatch in your hand. If they go over 30 seconds, the only kind of, I guess, thing that's up in the air is and it shouldn't be up in the air because I guess the PDGA believes they know exactly when you should start the time. But for players, I don't think any of us really know when our time should start. That's the only thing that's kind of up in the air. But outside of that, it should be black and white. And I'm with you, Gannon. If you make a call, and I think us as players, and Yuli, you've said this many times on the podcast, we're not going to call you on 30 seconds if your disc is in the middle of the woods and you're like struggling to try to figure out what to do, right? Yeah. But if you do have a marshal on there and he does make the call, That now means if Yuli has a 28-footer and he takes 31 seconds on it, you have to call him. You can't just call one person and not the other.
Yeah.
And that's my big takeaway.
The other thing I forgot to mention was obviously the lead card has a 20-minute gap between the lead and chase card. We caught them on hole 8 and had to wait the rest of the round. It's like, and we didn't wait day 2. So obviously there was some pace of play problem with the groups ahead of us that wasn't getting taken care of. Round 1, my friend Gavin was on a card, and he had a pretty slow player in his card apparently, and I think there was a 4 or 5 hole gap at Eureka. So there's just like, it's, you can make the argument, well, you're the lead card and you're the only important card, but there's other problems other places. You know what I mean?
I agree.
That are causing other issues in the course. So, and it's just odd. The whole situation was kind of odd to me. That
it's a bad rule.
The
I think
exact wording that I told and it was announced to the group, and I got called on hole 18 in the almost exact same scenario, same exact spot, and then Paul didn't get called. Like I said, nothing against Paul. He can do whatever he wants. That's not my thing here.
It could have been anyone. It didn't.
It could have been
anybody.
anybody. That's the point. It could have been anybody. I was just like saying the name because there's no point in hiding it because you can find it if you want. But like I said, it just I've accepted time calls in the past. I've obviously got called for time quite a bit. I do think I have a bit of a target on my back, and this time it just seemed like it was a big target, and I was kind of fed up. I've never ever in my life gone up to anybody and really argued my case about something, but I truly felt that this was unfair. And
well, I didn't have any marshals on my card, seeing how long I was taking.
You were probably walking up and cheating then. I was kidding, but
which is another kind of a crazy thing of where you could have someone on your card the entire time, and they're a third party making calls, and I don't have anyone on my card making calls. Yeah, third party. And
I mean,
yeah. I was gonna say, like,
all those things are true. There's the rule's not good. The rule's in place so that the course flows. That's why the rule's there. It's not for benefit or unbenefit of a player. It's so that you get through the round in a timely manner. Am I correct in that? Can we all agree that that is the reason that we have any sort of time?
I don't know. Like, it may be, but then at the same time,
so and I think
people are like, "Oh, well, you're cheating if you take more than 30 seconds because it's an advantage."
I think that there's confusion around that whole thing, right? I think that people think like the more time you have, the better you're going to play because you have more time than everybody. And that's true too, because the time limit, in my opinion, is so small. So now you do have a case for saying, okay, the person who takes longer has more time. That's why I believe it's a bad rule, because I think that the rule should just be so that you get through the same amount of time as everybody else.
I mean, I saw something about the PGA Tour has a 40-second rule, and it's been called 2 times in like the last 20 years. Like,
they take forever.
Yeah,
and a lot of their time has to do with pace of play, like keep up with everybody.
Yeah. So I just wish there was like a more, I guess, a answer for the reason of the rule, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair. But
it seems like they're trying to fix that with next year's updates with the specific, like, because when the marshal says to you, when the marshal says to you guys, "Oh, I'm going to start this," if you're range finding and stuff, the rule doesn't really specify now that is any particular thing. So what happens if a marshal on a different card doesn't consider range finding part of addressing the lie? It's super. So hopefully the rule next year will help with that. I mean, I think it has its own innate things we have to still figure out, but maybe.
Gannon. But that's why I think that the rule's kind of confusing for even marshals, because I think they're just looking at it as it's a benefit for you against the card. Therefore, you're on the lead card, you're winning the tournament. Like, the internet sees this, people are looking this and maybe confused about this same exact thing. You get what I'm saying? As far as like an interpretation of why this rule should in fact be in place. And unfortunately, because you've had excessive time a bunch in your life, you do have a target on your back.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like that's going to follow you until this rule is either gone or you play in within 29 seconds every single time. That's just what's going to happen. But I think personally, I don't think everybody understands exactly why this rule is actually needs to be implemented anyways, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Gannon, how would you handle this scenario? If I was on your card, you and the other two people on our card all throw great shots. You guys are 450, 500 feet down the fairway. I throw a shot that hits a tree 300 feet down the fairway and goes into the rough. We all start walking towards down the fairway, but I'm kind of jogging. I'm kind of moving a little bit quicker. So I end up getting to my disc 10 seconds before you guys even get to where I am at. Do I get 30 seconds when you guys get up to me? Or should I get, you see what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying too, because I'm actually like, the funny part about like my pace of play as a player, I am probably the fastest walker on tour. I mean, my poor caddies are.
Give me that, Gannon. Give me something. Give me that at least. Give yourself number 2. Let me have that.
Brody's
number
fast.
one.
Let me have
fast.
that. Let me have that.
I just know I look back and Ben and Schlebacher, they're way back there. I'm like, you got to run. They're all constantly having to run up to me because I'm just like, they call it my like, I don't even know, like my like locked in stomp. Eagle like also kind of has something like that, but like I am just I get to my disc really quick, and I also step on the tee pad immediately after the player throws. I'm not like lollygagging, so my pace of play as a whole is probably pretty solid.
Yeah.
When I grab the disc and then line up my shot, that's my flaw. You know what I mean? But if, like you said, like it's just weird. I've been on
You
so many
should
league
get more,
cards.
in my opinion, you should get more time to make great shots. Like that's what the people want. We want to see good disc golf. You should get more time for the shots. The lollygagging and the walk, and the walking and staying way behind and all of that stuff. That's the problem.
People don't want to see buzzer beater throws from the fairway of where you're like indecisive between two discs and you're like 2, 1.
Drama.
I mean, if I probably get to my disc, I probably walk the hole at least, I mean, close to a minute faster than my competitors. Over 18 holes, that's 18 minutes I saved on the average player. That's a lot of time that I took off just by walking.
Well, you also are throwing like 20 shots less than the average player too.
That as well. I mean, and that's the tough part about the rule. I've played on cards where our entire card is playing so bad, whacking every tree, horrible spots, and the card behind you is going to catch you. That's just what's going to happen. And yeah, I think there was 3 players, 8 down through 11, on one of the cards at Northwoods. Like that card is going to catch the next card. It's just what's going to happen. And so, I've been on league cards multiple times. This is at least the 3rd time that I can recall off the top of my head that I've been called for time, and then we get backed up on the chase card. And I mean, I remember Beaver State when I was on league card last year. I believe I got called for time, and then we had to wait 20 minutes on hole 18. But I've also been on league cards where the league card finishes 45 minutes after the chase card. Yeah. So it's never a consistent thing. It's so hard to predict.
I think what you want is you want the PDGA to come out and say, listen, we're going to do this and give everyone a restrictive time to throw their shot because we want a shot clock. We want people to have to make decisions quickly. Or have them come out and say, we're doing this because of a pace of play thing. Right now, it's kind of up in the air because to your point, Gannon, if you're catching the card in front of you on league card, why does it matter if you take 45 seconds or a minute? You're literally right on top of them, right?
Like how do you break a 20-minute gap in 8 holes?
Yeah, and so you need the PDGA to come out and say, this is why we have it, and this is the reason why we have it, and this is why we're going to enforce it. And until they do that, you're going to have a lot of people upset, a lot of people going, what the heck? Why am I paying my PDGA membership? All right, Gannon, we'll let you go, brother. We appreciate you coming on. You're always – I love talking to you because you're never afraid of saying what's on your mind. I love that. I'm with you. I think it's silly. And I hope the PGA comes out and says something about it, because it needs to be addressed moving forward. I don't think this timeout thing that we're gonna talk about that later with Gary. I don't think that's the solution at all. But do you have anything for your sponsors, anything like that exciting in the works after Ledgestone, maybe?
I mean, yeah, as always, Discmania will be releasing a disc for my Ledgestone win. Also, my Worlds win, we have the new Q-line technology, so it's more weight in the rim, and it has a really unique flight with the DD3. So definitely check that out and try it out. It's really fun to throw, and you'll definitely notice a difference. If you want to support my jerseys, Cardinal Disc Golf. They make my jerseys with every win I get a new design, so check those out. Probably looking at maybe an American flag design for the Ledgestone win. Squatch disc golf bags, my America bag as well, my USA bag. And yeah, I mean, I just want to thank all my fans, my supporters. I want to thank you guys for, allowing me to get on this platform to, share my peace of mind, and yeah, thank you guys, and I'm happy to be on here anytime.
Always a pleasure, Gannon. Good luck this week at Idlewild, brother. I know we all are really excited to kind of continue to see. I mean, it's crazy, Yuli. The dude's not even you're not even 20 yet. So it's
I'm 20. I'm 20.
When was your birthday?
May 7th.
Okay, the dude's not 21, Gannon.
I'm old.
Yuli. He's not 21. So it's crazy to see the future of what you have ahead of you in your career, but we're looking forward to it, man. Good luck out there this week.
All right, thanks. See ya.
All right, Gannon. There you have it. Your world champion, Gannon Buhr. I will say he's getting really good at interviewing and like speaking exactly what he's thinking when it comes to like tough issues. Obviously, the PGA, big organization in disc golf. A lot of people are terrified of them and don't want to ever say anything bad about them. And he's willing to come on and openly have a conversation about things he likes and things he doesn't like that's going on. I respect that. I respect that a lot.
And it's tough to do that in a respectful way.
Yes.
In a respectful way.
Yeah.
It's hard to get it out of the brain and be like, how am I going to say this as a frustration of mine without making them look horrible? And that's a really tough thing to do. And I think he did a great job of like saying like, no, like I'm fine with this, but I'm not okay with this part. And it's a complete valid point.
Yeah, no, 100% valid. Yeah. All right. Do we have Ohn waiting? Is Ohn in the wings?
No, not yet. No,
not yet. Okay.
I'm going to text her again real quick.
Okay. When we get Ohn on, Mike, just let me know in the chat, or you can just throw her on. I'll give it a little intro. We talked about Luke Taylor and Isaac Robinson's rounds. We're going to talk hopefully a little bit about all the crazy stuff that went down in the back-to-back playoffs by Ohn, by the way, with the World Championship and then now over at Ledgestone. Crazy kind of drama in both. A little bit different drama in the World Championship versus the drama that kind of unfolded for a split second at Ledgestone. Yuli, have you been caught up on what kind of went down? Maybe we should show the video before she comes on so everyone can kind of see it and listen to it before she goes on. So Mike, if you have that video, if you want to throw that up so we can all be on the same page. If not, we can watch it when Ohn gets on too. Whatever's easiest.
She's
Owen's here. Okay, well, let's bring her on. The 2025 world champion. She didn't think it was possible, but she did the impossible. She took it down. Ohn Scoggins joins Tour Life once again. Ohn, how's it going?
Feeling good. Feeling like a champ.
Yeah, you should. I mean, let's just first start off by saying congratulations. Not only did you win the world championship, but also, Ohn, are you able to turn your phone sideways?
Okay, let's see
if it's easy.
Is it like that better? Or
do you have your thing? You might have your orientation locked.
It's not like that. Nope. I don't know.
You
Where's
can
that?
keep it. You can keep it vertical. It's fine. It works. We'll make it. We'll make it work. So not only did you win the world championship, which is already a huge, huge deal, you also won it in a playoff, which was the first time ever that the FPO World Championship went to a playoff. Did you know that at the time that you were going to be going into the first FPO playoff ever?
No, I don't know on that time until somebody telling me. They said, "Hey, do you know this is the first time ever we're playoff?" I was like, "Oh, really?" I didn't know that until somebody tell me. I said, "Hey, what a cool thing, what a cool thing to go through with the oldest and the youngest." Yeah.
So I first off, congratulations. Incredible
Thank you.
job.
Thank you.
I want to first go to your comment that you made, because I think when you talked about that right after, we got the raw emotion from you, and you talked about how going into this tournament, you were just like hoping for a top 15. You thought winning it was not even in the books. Did that ever switch during the tournament? Was there ever a moment, because you talked about talking to your husband the morning before the round, saying that you didn't think you could win. Was there a moment during that final round that you were like, wait a second, I might win this thing?
Until probably hole 16.
Wow, that late. Wow.
Yeah, that late, because I was like four stroke, and then the front nine, I was not playing that good, and then sometime Hannah was like got me by 6 stroke. Yeah, until the later on, like maybe until hole 15, 16, until they win OB, and then hole 17 we all win OB, and then Hannah was Mr. Putt, and then suddenly I was thinking, hey, hole 18, I feel like I play okay on hole 18. When I practice, very rare I get bogey on that hole. So either par or birdie for me. So I was thinking, because I play with Ida the day before, and then her upshot was kind of like not inside the circle. She's kind of like go a little bit far, like maybe 25 feet, and then she laying up. I was remember on that one, and then I was thinking, I feel like her laying up on hole 18 might be difficult for her again, because I saw that, and it does. It was like, again, it make her have a problem on hole 18. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there, you've now have won tons of tournaments, and you've beaten, pretty much everyone in the field. That Worlds was like a very interesting cast of characters down the stretch, right? It seemed like everyone outside of you let the nerves kind of get to them. We saw, some bad putts. We saw some bad throws. We saw some very questionable decision making, of where you're just like, why the heck did that person go for that shot? Do you see that all happening around you? And does that give you even more confidence at that time of like, hey, if I just stick to my game plan, these people around me could potentially put me back into the driver's seat?
I feel like play from behind is always comfortable. I'm always feel comfortable when I try to catch up, not when you like first place, because it's, for me, it's nothing to lose. It's nothing for me to like laying up, nothing for me to just play very safe. For what? I try to catch them. So for me, that's why I try to go for everything. Is no questionable for my drive. Like, I'm just gonna doing it. And then I think for them it's more pressure, because they were tight. I'm pretty sure they look at score here and there, and for them it's just like, oh my God, they're overthinking, or maybe they're just too nervous, because their score was just tight for 3-way in some point. And me, it's just like creeping behind, I like creeping behind, and no one expect me. And I said, boom, peek-a-boom, I'm right here, So yeah, I think the pressure on them was very high compared with me, because I just like little thing in this world, no one think about it, and then suddenly I just pop up like a mushroom, yeah, the nerve is goddamn a lot. Yeah.
Where would you rank your third shot on hole 13 as far as the Ohn Scoggins best shots of my life? Now you have the kind of the idea of how important that shot was. I think maybe at the time you probably didn't think like, hey, if I don't get up and down here, I'm not going to be a world champion. But looking back at it, if you don't get up and down there, you're not a world champion. So where does that shot rank for you in shots, across your entire career?
I feel like that's number one shot of the year for me.
Wow.
Number one, because I didn't know on that time. I was like, okay, I know that's very good shot, but I didn't know when I'm looking back. I was like, yeah, if I messed up on that up shot, it might be like from bogey to double bogey.
Yeah.
Just remind me of Pro Tour Championship on that last throw for me. The one I hit the pole and bump in. That's number one shot in my whole year last year. So this one will be number one because I don't care anything else from now on if I have a better shot, but that will be with me forever because, like you said, it's very important. Like I just not realize that as how important it is. Keep 100% on that one. So.
Yeah, and a lot of times the video doesn't do it justice of how challenging that shot was.
I know. I want to show the world more on that up shot.
That shot, that shot actually looked really challenging on video. It's even harder than how it looked. I would be very surprised if people could go and drop your disc there and try. I mean, do you think that's going to be a kind of a cool thing? When people go and play the fort after James Conrad throws that crazy shot in, a lot of people, do Instagram videos of trying the James Conrad holy shot. Are we going to see maybe the same thing with the Ohn Scoggins scramble over there? Do you think people now, when they play that course, are going to go down and see if they can get up and down through those trees?
I would love to. I would love them to just go to the exactly where my disc land and then have to throw side arm just like me. Throw a side arm just like me, and then you guys can send me a video. Just like, hey, all you do the same as you. Send me a video, or send you guys a video, and then compare because it's not an easy shot. Like, especially I have a little arm, so I have to go like way high. I don't know, like if I throw backhand only, it just have to be way high. Even that is probably gonna come in short. Only one thing I can think of is just side arm, like big flag shot. Yeah, go there, make a video and show me. So I want to see what you guys doing.
I thought that shot was very impressive, but I was playing my round during the final round of FPO, so I was looking at my phone and I had it on and I was watching, but I didn't get to see everything, and so I had to turn it off eventually, and then eventually watch the playoff. But when I looked at the statistics of the round, what caught my eye is the 6 for 9 circle 2.
Incredible
And so
putting.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what? This is got to be a typo. Like, this is crazy. And so I had to, once I got home, I turned it on when I was watching my daughter, and I'm like, I have to watch this round because there's no way she made 6 of 9 circle 2. Sure enough, you did. Have you ever putted like that in a round before? I mean, that was insane.
Very rare doing that. I think I almost do it at Leadstone. So Leadstone, I make a lot of circle putt too, just like a couple days ago. I don't know, man. Somehow it's so weird about putting. Like I know it's kind of like a circle 2 putt, but every time when I walk over there and I look at the basket, it look closer. I don't know how you guys been through that
Yeah.
feeling or not, but when something you going to make it it look like the basket is kind of like closer than it does. That's how I feel every time when I walk over there. I feel like I can make this. It look closer, but it's like a 50, 60 feet out. But it's for me on that moment. It's just like, wow, I almost like my eyes zoom the basket. So for me, it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna slam it hard, and it's just gonna. I feel so comfortable, feel so confident. It's just so weird. It's just so weird feeling. Maybe there's your day is your day, I guess. But on that moment, like every basket I look on that one, I just not even scared. I don't know. It's just so weird. It just
That
I'm
sounds
not.
incredible.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not. That's really nuts on that day.
And it probably frustrates the crap out of other people on the
Yeah.
card, right? They're just like, it doesn't matter really where Ohn throws, she's going to make the putt.
The lady was comment on my putt. They said, "What's going on? You crazy? What's going on with you?" I said, "Well, I'm sorry, lady. I'm nuts today. I'm like I'm nuts." I told them they comment on me and say, "Man, you crazy, Ohn? You not scared?" I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, somehow.
I want to go to hole 18. This was, I think it was you guys played it 3 times, right? Or did you guys just play it once? I'm trying to remember.
3 times.
Okay. So I think it was the 3rd time you ended up going oh no, it was the 2nd time, I think, right? The 2nd time you went OB on your tee shot?
Oh, you mean at World?
Yeah,
At
World's
Worlds, hole 18.
Oh, so okay. The playoff is just only one time.
Okay.
The playoff only one time, and then
It was the second time you played the hole.
Yeah. I went OB in the first drive.
You went OB on the first drive.
Yeah, on the first drive.
I was watching you, and I've watched you play obviously a lot of league cards before, and I've seen you on coverage quite a bit. You're not shy to be talkative and happy and all that stuff. But I got the sense of looking at it that you were almost, at that moment when you threw OB, you were almost like happy for Ida, kind of like, hey, you're going to be a world champion. Like when you're walking down the fairway, it kind of seemed like you made a switch from being like normal Ohn to kind of being almost like, all right, I've lost, I've thrown OB, she's going to end up winning, I'm so happy for her. Was that the feelings? Did you think after going OB, walking down the fairway, that you were going to lose at that point?
Oh, you nailed it. Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Absolutely. Somehow, so before we play up, I play that one, right? So I throw very low. I almost hit the pole on the left side. And then when the play up, I was talking to myself, okay, just throw higher. But it was too high. And then as long as my drive went OB, I thought to myself, that's it. I'm going to lose. But on that moment, and also I look at her, I'm like, hey, you going to win. I'm happy for you. You know, that's why I was high five to her, and I tell her, oh, that's a wonderful, like, you know, good throw right there. And on that moment, I walk down, you know, I tap her shoulder, whatever. I talk to her like, man, your drive's very good, and you know, I'm be very happy. You know, we happy to doing it. You know, I just talk to her like the very, very good positive thing, and pretty much almost keep up because her drive was just so far over there. Mine was just so early. But on that moment, Justin was telling me, hey, pretty much I talked with Justin and said, hey, second place is okay, babe. Second place is okay. He said, yeah, it's okay, babe, but you never know, babe. You still have a chance. Just throw your upshot good, you know, you never know. And I was like, yeah, you know, you never know, because I know like her upshot on hole 18 was the day before was not that great. And that's why I threw Siam and then see what happened. But her upshot was so good, even better, just like way up, almost up the hill.
Yeah, it was kind of scary watching it. It looked like it was going to go OB right. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's the worst thing you could do.
Yeah, but somehow, you know, it get in there, and I was like, okay, that's it. There's no way she's not gonna win this. There's no way. And I accept it. I accept to be lose. I'm not sad or anything. I just already like, I feel blessing to be even second place, because I didn't thought I'm gonna be like even second place, you know. So I'm kind of like just smiling, just kind of like pretty much like happy for her because she working hard, you know. But when she's her upshot, you know what, it's I can see she's just very nervous. Yeah. Very nervous. I can see she what do you call big breathe, like she almost like so overwhelming. I can see like she was more nervous than me, you know, and walk to her up shot. I can see her face like so nervous. I can hear she big breathe, but I didn't know she's gonna be um pretty much surprised that she's OB on that one. Yeah.
What were your thoughts when you saw her lay up? What was going through your head? Were you like, were you shocked?
Little bit shocked because I was thinking she should just run for it. She just run for it.
I mean, Ohn Scoggins is going to miss a 15-footer, right?
Yeah, but I feel like she probably not comfortable with her putt because that all day her putting was just kind of like on and off. I can see all day was just like she missing a lot of putt here and there. So when you're missing a lot of putt in the final day, it's never be a good sign, you know. So because you're confident, it's just the more you miss, the more your confidence drop with the putting. But even that though, I feel like she should just keep a go, you know. But I don't know why she's like I say, I know exactly why she's probably just like nervous with her putt a little bit. But looking back, I'm pretty sure if she can take the time back, I'm pretty sure she's just gonna go for it.
Send it.
Yeah,
Were
send
you
it.
nervous on your? We said it was
Yeah.
15 foot, jumping like joking around, but how nervous were you? To me, it looked like you went pretty quick.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty good at right there. I'm pretty good at because I was shaking.
Yeah.
My hand, my leg was shaking. I tried with Justin. I was like in shock, especially when she went OB and she lay up. It made me more shocked and make me more nervous. And then Justin asking me, "Are you okay, babe?" I said, "No, I'm shaking. I'm scared. I'm scared." But you know, because I wear glasses, so no one know it because my eye was just like, oh, it's like, but that's the part of my life. That's the part of my life. I know it's like it's like 15 feet, but it's high elevation, and then the wind is start to go to left to right, so you see the flag. And all I talked to myself, I said, "This is all you practice putt for a whole year. This is it. Like you you need whatever you have to do. You cannot fuck up on this one." Talk to myself, cannot, and I just so focused. It looked like quick, but on that moment, I feel like a 10 minute in my head.
Yeah.
It looked like 10 minutes because that's almost like a slow down. Everything slowed down, and it's just me and the basket, and I just talk to myself, just putt hard. If you want to miss, you want to miss hard, you know.
You went super quick on 17 too.
Yeah.
17, you like dropped your mini and then immediately just like winged it in there. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, holy smokes.
Yeah, you know why? Because on that day, I'm just so comfortable with my putting, like because I make so many putt, and for me, it just because I make so many like circle 2 putt, and then when I go that close, for me, it's just nothing. It's just so close right there. That's why
You
it's
almost
just
don't want to sit over it and let like bad thoughts have time to
no,
come in your head.
no.
You know you
I
can make
don't-
it. Just step up and make it.
On that moment, it's just like okay, just tap it. But it's not happen very often. It's very rare. Sometimes it's just someday I feel like that, but someday it's just like everything I do is just not right. Everything I
Yeah.
do is just miss to the left, miss to the right. But when you just on. It's weird feeling. You guys probably feel it sometime here and there. Yeah.
Well, Yuli probably more than me and Gary, but yeah, congratulations. That was so fun to watch. That's a Worlds that's not going to be forgotten. And the fact that you did it at like the biggest one ever that had the biggest fans, that's got to be special for you to have that many people come out and root for you and cheer you on.
Oh, I have so many people cry with me. I have some of my friends from LA fly to Finland to just watch World, and then they just all over me, crying so much. And I heard like what Ricky Wasaki was come and watch us.
Ricky got
And
a 2-stroke
then
penalty because he got a 2-stroke penalty for watching you guys.
that is special. Like, I never see he do that. I never see he do that. And sorry, Ricky, but I really appreciate you so much. You just come and watch us. I'm sorry if we lose 2-stroke. But very appreciate you. Yeah, it's really special. And then also I feel like sorry for Ida too, because I know the whole country was have a high hope on her. If she win world, will be a history, a youngest one to win, and also another win for Finland people. So the pressure is very high for her, and yeah, the whole family is on her shoulders. So yeah, I feel so bad for her too. I totally understand that feeling. So.
Speaking of history, how does it feel to hold 2 world titles at the same time? Because that's pretty historic too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna see when and where the next person gonna do it, because I know this one might go at least 5 years, maybe, hopefully. Because especially you have to be 5-time, okay? 5-time world master, and then one time world. So it have to be matched with me, otherwise I'm not counted. So that will be that
It's
will be
never
quite
happening.
a
It's
long
never
time.
happening on.
Nope.
I
It's
don't
never.
think it's ever happening. No, I don't think so.
I'm rooting for Paul Oman. Come on, Paul.
I cross a finger. I would love to have maybe one more female, or maybe one male can do just match.
But you
I
just
think
do it
it's
again next year.
Yeah, back to back.
I don't know, guy. It might be one and only for me. But doesn't matter. I die with smiling on my face. So
Let's
Yeah.
let's fast forward now, because now you're in, a lot of drama went down at Worlds, right? Like that playoff was insane, crazy. And now let's fast forward to Ledgestone. You find yourself in another playoff, this time against Val. More drama goes down, but for something completely different. Do we have the video that we can play now? Let's see if we can play it. All right, so here it is.
And no worries.
Come on, she makes that look so easy. My knees will be knocking, Des.
Oh, I just love it too. She very rarely even contemplates the comeback.
Yeah, that's true, huh?
Yeah,
She's
she's like,
right
yeah,
up.
I know these. I got everything inside the circle.
Let's head back down the fairway one more time.
Hey, Val parted. Oh, she did.
No, you have to putt out, so you can't pick up the disc.
I mean, I asked
Yeah.
her, and then
But
we agreed.
No,
Yeah,
you
just
can't
put it
do
back where
that.
it was.
Oh, okay.
Put it back where it was.
Sorry, I just
No,
want to it's be alright. friendly.
Well, yeah, but we have to finish.
Oopsie. Oops, I did it again.
I mean, I guess I have
All
some
right.
recreational play.
So for our listeners, Ohn, set the stage. You make your putt and you ask Val, hey, this 5-footer, 10-footer that you have, completely fine. Do you want me to pick it up for you and give it to you? Val says yes. You pick it up and hand it to her. Then Nate Heino walks in and says, wait, you guys can't do that. Is that basically the gist of what happened?
Yeah. You know what? Here's the thing. So we play off 3 times, right? So for us, we played that hole 1 time before we playing off. So that will go 4 times for us. Like that walk will be like 4 times for us, because we play a round before, right? Whatever how you call. But anyway, we'll be out 4 times, back and forth. With the heat, 94 Fahrenheit, whatever, 94, so hot. The weather, lay off, probably wait like an hour. Pretty much we've been through a lot. We tired. And she's the best putt, like hand out top 3 putter. And for me, there's no question. She will not miss that putt. I respect her putt so much. That's why we just want to keep moving fast. For me on that moment, I just asked her, hey, wow, would you like me to pick up, or you want to putt? She said, yeah, pick up, please. I'm like, okay, because it's cool with me. Because that's how I roll. I like to be cool, but probably maybe a wrong time. But anyway, asking her, and then we both agree. But Nate just said, hey, you guys cannot do that here and there. And I was like, okay, sorry, like I said, I'm sorry. And then she just going back and putting. I understand, because it's rule is rule. But sometimes us as the player, we're just so tired. We just want to get it done. Me and her, we just feel the same. We just like, please, let's moving on and walk up and down, tired. But anyway, sorry, guy, if I disappoint some of you guys out there, the rule people. Apologize. We'll not do that again. But for me and Val, we cool. So yeah.
So my only question I have for you with this, Owen, is if it would have like ended up being a 2-stroke penalty, right? If Nate Heinold would have said, hey, you interfered with someone else's disc, 2-stroke penalty. Do you think Val would have laid up twice and tapped in so that way you guys would have gotten the same score to continue the playoff? What would you think would have happened?
I mean, if you want to give me 2-stroke, I'll take it, because I do it. Like, I'm not gonna, I'll take it like a sham, because I will accept whatever he want to give me. But I feel like Wow would be upset if I got 2-stroke because we both agree. She'll be like, what do you mean? Like, she probably not going to be upset. She probably not going to be upset with that. And then she probably not going to be happy to win that way for sure, because that's how Wow is, because
That's
she'll
what I
be
thought
like,
too.
yeah, because she'll be like, no, don't do that. She will be just like that, because if you want to win, you want to win something is more proud than just, and also I mean, well, I do something not like harm or anything. So I'm pretty sure like, but also like Nate, he's kind of like, he's there, nice to us, just like not give us any stroke or anything. He's probably understand, like, it's a long day. You just need to tap in here and there. Overall, everybody just quite chill, and no 2-stroke, and everybody understand the end of the day. Thank you, appreciate that. So
It's kind of strange too, because in match play you can do that. You can just be like, yeah, I
I
concede,
know.
pick it up, and you're essentially literally in a match play situation. It's just
Yeah,
you two.
that's why
So I could
I
see
was
the
thinking like
confusion.
that.
Is there any
That's why I'm thinking like, why not? Because just me and her, whatever. That's why I told with Nate, like, well, me and her, we agree. What
Yeah.
else do we have to care? Like, but I guess he just, wanna make it right, So, but I feel like I saw that too. I saw like the guy doing that. That's why I doing it. I thought I want to be cool like guy, like they pick it up. I want to pick it up too, But unfortunately, wrong time, wrong moment, I guess.
we're gonna see that in every playoff explanation going forward. That they're gonna say, all right, we have to play out every single putt, every single stroke. I'm surprised they don't say that to you guys ahead of time. But I like the idea that it could be kind of match play, because it is just you versus Val.
Yeah. And also he not telling us, like you said, like, hey, everything you have to putt off, even like under the basket, But come on, man, we're not gonna miss that. Like, anyway. Anyway, sorry, guy. I do what I do. So
You can answer this question or not, Owen, if you want. There was a fan question that asked, are there certain FPO players that you would not have picked that putt up for?
Pick that up for.
So, like, if you're playing against someone other than Val, you don't have to say names or anything. Are you picking that? Are you picking that putt up for everyone, or are you
You can just say no or yes. You don't name names.
Don't name names, but like, are you wanting to see some people have to make that putt to tie you?
Well, you know what? I get call from Nate Heinold, so no.
There you go. Okay, there you go. Good.
Otherwise, Nate will be like, give you 2-stroke.
There you go.
Yeah, but you guys probably read my mind. Like, probably. I don't need to say, but you guys probably read my mind.
Oh, where do we go here from for the end of the season for you?
Hey, wait. By the way, you guys not even pick me on Letstone. Duh. Own me a beer.
Yeah, we
I
nipped
know.
it.
Yeah,
No,
that's
well,
our bad.
Yuli has some explaining to do with Ledgestone.
Yeah,
I've got
I
the
messed everything up.
I've got the receipts on that own. I like you this week though. Do you like
Thanks.
yourself at Idlewild?
I would love to make top 8. I would love to make top 8. You know what, like I say, like, you don't want to feel too comfortable. Like every time when I feel too comfortable, it end up with not playing well. I feel like if I let myself losing and then just go with the flow, whatever happen is happen, and I play better. So I'm just gonna get myself losing top 8, and then whatever play better than that, I'll pick it up. But you never know, anybody can come a hot round and take this weekend win.
Where do you think, where would you rank yourself right now in FPO?
Oh boy.
You mean for the world ranking?
Just
Or this week?
not necessarily just Ohn Scoggins. Who, like, you don't have to say who you think's better than you or
Top
who's
7?
worse
Top
than
7?
you. You think you're 7th, right? You'd put yourself 7th?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I feel like top 7 would be fair for me. But I know it's not gonna be for a long time. I know, like, after next year we'll be probably go down to top 10. It's all right. It's all right. Everything go down.
I would put you higher than top 7.
No.
I
You
would.
don't want, because like I said, I don't have distance to
Yep.
to win a lot of tournament, but I feel like top 7 should be fair. I mean, don't give me
She's in-
higher than that. Like, I'm not
She's in
that good.
top 6 for Queen of the Hill. Top 6 for Queen of the Hill.
Gary's got you top 6.
That's
There you
right.
go.
Oh, top 6? Oh, you guys are too nice. You're nice.
You got anything going on that you want to shout out, Own? Any sponsors, anything, any fans, or anything that you want to say to the fans out there? You got a lot of people in the chat right now that are loving your interview.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you so much. You know, number one, my fan Justin. He's the
Oh,
best in my life.
how is that? Does he do a good job of keeping you calm? You said you were sitting there nervous, and I always see you guys talking.
Yeah.
Talk about him as a caddy though. How is he on the bag?
He is very enthusiasm. He's very like, oh, you know, he's like very like pumped. He just like, yeah, let's go.
He hypes you up.
Yeah, he's like that. And also, he will help me with the ankle when I could not see on that moment. Almost like you blind when you just too intent when you play. So it's always good to have like different eye to see different thing. And then we talk about, like, you know, what should I do here and there, how much ankle should I go here and there. We talk a lot, all kind of the game. And also, like, if I'm too nervous, and then he'll be like, you know, help me calm. And then, but also he's the person, so I can let out my emotional, mad, sad, happiness. So he took it like a sham. He took it like a sham. Like, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we talk a lot. Like, every time when we on the course, the thing we talk was all about game. Yeah. And then of course my fan. Oh my god, my fan, like, you guys have no idea. I've only got like 1,000 texts. 1,000 texts on that weekend. My phone almost like blew up. And on top of that, I was so sick. I don't know, like, I was so sick. I was like, could not get out of the bed. And then, well, I guess a good thing, so I can lie down and do the phone, I guess. But I was in a mess. I think I might get a COVID or something. I have no idea. It was pretty bad. Yeah. Want to shout out to my big sponsor, Innova, Flying Saucers, Grip, Suga, Salty Unicorn, and Ideal Shoot. All my fans support my disc. My disc, I have a moon dust. World 2025 World Ohn Scoggins coming out beautiful, and it's sold out under 12 hours. And the second one probably gonna sold out again, like, very soon, or maybe even sold out already. Very happy. They are who I am. So I wanna thank you them so much, my fans.
That's awesome. Well, you got a lot of them. People love rooting for you, Ohn. You bring a lot of excitement and enthusiasm to the game, and we are all blessed to have you playing disc golf, and at the highest level too. It's awesome to watch, and we look forward to seeing what you have in store for us this week. We'll make sure to pick you this week, Ohn. We're picking you this week.
Well,
We're picking
I
you.
did. You guys owe me a beer.
I'll definitely buy you one of those. No problem. Appreciate you jumping on the podcast. You're always welcome, Ohn.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much, guys.
thank you so
Appreciate it.
much.
Yeah, thank
You're
you.
Sorry for the wait, too.
2025 world
Yeah, thank you.
champion, folks. Ohn Scoggins.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see. Where do we want to go from here? Let's bounce to. I mean, we just talked about it a little bit, but Yuli, I kind of want to hear your take on the rule and what we should go. What should happen in the future, because Calvin Lundquist, similar kind of situation happened where he picked up someone else's disc thinking it was his disc. This obviously Ohn's picking up a disc knowing it's not her disc, but Val is giving her the A-OK. So let me just read the rules that this situation goes, and then we can kind of talk about a little bit, because I do think the PDJ probably does need to do something about it. So this is Rule 810, interference. This is Section F. It says a player who intentionally interferes with another player's disc in any of the following ways receives 2 penalty throws: altering the course of a thrown disc, or moving or obscuring a thrown disc or marker disc, other than in the process of identification, retrieval, marking, or is allowed by 810H. So then you go to 810H, and that says a disc in play that was thrown by any player and comes to rest on or behind the lie may be moved. After the player has thrown, the other player's disc is replaced to where it came to rest as agreed. So that doesn't come into account on this. So, Yuli, if I'm just reading this rule, the things that stick out to me is intentionally interfering. Did that happen? Yes, she intentionally interfered with someone else's disc by picking it up. It wasn't thrown, so we can skip that. So now we have to say, was it the process of identification? No, she knew it was Val's disc, so they weren't saying, let me see if this is my disc or your disc, whatever. It wasn't during marking. There was no marking going on. And in my understanding of the word retrieval, how I view the word retrieval is a disc that's not in play. You can't retrieve. I don't think you can retrieve a disc that's in play. That doesn't make any sense. So when I look at retrieval, I'm thinking of a disc that's been thrown out of bounds that is no longer in play, or a disc that was on the ground. They throw another shot, so now that disc is no longer in play. That to me is retrieval. I don't think you can retrieve a disc that's in play.
Well, she did ask, do you want that? And then if the
Yes.
person says yes, then you're retrieving their disc.
But that's not in the rules.
No, for sure.
Mhm.
No,
And-
I think
and-
I think she should have got stroked. Yes.
And
Just if you're going off of what the rule says, she broke the rules.
if
Yes.
I wanted to, I could also, Yuli, if you looked at me and said, hey, do I have a legal stance, right? And I say, yes, you have a legal stance, when in fact you didn't have a legal stance, and then you go and throw, I could call you on that.
Yeah.
Like it's not my just because I said you had a legal stance doesn't make it so.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And obviously us as players, we don't do that. But again, when it breaks it down to it, guys, we are reading the letters of the law as the rules. And this is what I would say, Yuli, is the biggest issue with disc golf, with rules that are written this way, because a lot of people are saying intentional, right? And then there's people saying malicious, and they're adding words that aren't the rules, for one. But then the other thing is, a lot of people get stuck on the intentional thing, right? A lot of people get stuck on, what that word means to them. And I think this is the big issue with the rules is we have a bunch of people interpreting the rules differently from other people.
Yeah.
And we are all the refs. Yuli, you're a ref. Gary, you're a ref. I'm a ref. If I interpret the rule differently than Yuli interprets the rule, then we're going to call the game differently on different cards. And so you got to make these rules black and white where there is no interpretation. There is no gray area of trying to figure out were they trying this, or what were they doing it maliciously, or did they have a weird look on their face? Do we know that they're like trying, you know what I'm saying? Like it should be just across the board.
I think it's exactly what I think. I thought she thought they were playing match play at that point.
Yep.
And picked it up.
Yep.
Hey, that's good. And they are playing match play. That's exactly what they're doing. There's two people. Whoever wins the hole wins the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
That's what match play is. But so I understand how it got confused. It is breaking the rule. Am I mad that they didn't stroke her? No, I don't think they should have, in my opinion. Of course not, but it is the rule. And to go by the letter of the law, that's a 2-stroke penalty.
Yeah, it's the same thing as if I think I'm outside the circle and I step putt and I was inside the circle.
Yeah.
You know, I thought I was outside the circle. You can,
yeah, but then I would think you should be stroked. In this other instance, I don't think she should have been. There's two people.
Yeah.
Well, this is an interesting scenario of where
the only person you're playing against, fine with it, tells you to do it, and then it's a confusing. You're not. The rule isn't protecting the field because the field had already agreed that it was all okay. So it's a weird situation all the way around.
But this kind of goes to Gannon's point, though.
Of course,
Of Gannon's whole point was, I just want the rules to be called fair. I want the rules to be called across the board. So if I'm getting called a rule on foot faulting when I think I didn't foot fault because I thought I was outside the circle when in fact I was inside the circle, then someone also should get called because Ohn didn't. If right before Ohn picks up that disc, if Nate Heinel says, "Hey, if you touch that disc, it's a 2-stroke penalty," does Ohn pick up the disc?
No.
Correct. No. So Ohn didn't think it was against the rules to pick up the disc. Does that mean that they should get a pass for getting the rules, for breaking the rules? I don't think so. But I'm also on the same side of I think this rule is written incorrectly, and they need to change the rule, the way the rule is written.
Well, and if the answer to would you pick that up for every FPO player, if there's any kind of thought process there, that tells you also that this wasn't just some. Yeah, exactly. So. And there was another play, in the previous version of that playoff hole, they were also in a similar spot, and she didn't pick it up then. So, like, I get that for me, it's like I respect all the players in the situation. I respect Ohn, I respect Val. I know that it was hot. I was there. It was very, very warm, and there's a lot going on. It's a big event. I know that's a lot of pressure on people, but ultimately, like, even though it feels like match play because it's 1-on-1, it's not technically match play rules. Like you've got to know that, I think, as a top player in the sport, and just don't touch somebody else's disc, even if they tell you to. You can't do it.
And what I was talking about a little bit earlier before the show started, Yuli, is I also kind of compare this similar to Ida not knowing the scores on her playoff hole, right?
Yeah.
And laying up like that. That's a big mistake. She should have known what the scores were. And you can look at the same way of like, you also probably should know what the rules are. And now I do think Val would have not wanted to win that way. And so I think we would have gotten the same outcome of where Val probably would have laid up twice to tap in to be like, I'm not winning that way. Let's continue this type of thing. But the whole point is when you start not enforcing the rules, that's where things can go haywire. When you start picking and choosing what rules to enforce, and when you start picking and choosing when to enforce rules and when not to enforce rules based off of different scenarios, that is where the problem is. And if everyone in the chat is saying this rule is stupid, whatever, then take the rule out. Don't have the rule. Yeah. And that's where I kind of stand on it is because we're all referees, right? We're all making the calls. It would be different if we had a third party and they're interpreting the rules a certain way and they're calling it that way for everyone.
Yeah.
We're all refs. We all have to look
Yep.
at the rules. We all should be playing under the same rules. And if it's a dumb rule, and some of you guys maybe in the chat think it's a dumb rule, Gary, I know you have some maybe opinions from people of what they think of the rule. That doesn't mean it shouldn't be called. That just means the rule shouldn't exist.
Sometimes it's just not going to get called, man. I mean, that's how bad our rule system really is in some of them. Like, and not even
But
the
my
bad
issue is
rules.
it can
Like,
get called. There are
yeah,
people that will call it and be a rule stickler. And my thing is that shouldn't be the case of you playing under a different rule set of someone else. That's my thing. If you want to talk about like the NFL or the NBA, right? Not all the games are called the same way.
no.
Right? Some refs have a certain idea of what the rules are and they're going to call it that way. And everyone knows, okay, this is how the game's going to be played. But everyone's playing under that way versus some people play under this way and some people don't. And we're going to call it for this person, but we're not going to call it for this person. That's where I think it gets really, really sticky.
And if you get the right person in there, that extra $4,500 looks a lot better when you can go, oh, well, you picked it up. Sorry about that. Got to call you on that one. But some people may have the opinion of, oh, we're all friends here. And one of the big opinions that I heard people say, literally verbatim, was, I don't want to end the tournament on you missing a 6-footer. It's competition, and 6-footers are missed. We've seen it on the FPO tour. 6-footers are
No,
missed.
I'm fine with winning with somebody missing a 6-footer. I'm not fine with winning of somebody picking up a disc, because in that situation, I'm tossing the disc twice and then we're moving along.
What if someone signs the incorrect scorecard and they end up losing and someone else wins?
That's a different part of a rule. That's
I know, but I'm saying, that's a terrible way of winning. Should that be nullified?
It's not the same, Brody. It's not the same. That's a actual mistake that everybody. It's not a confusing rule in any way. That's
no, but the person might have been confused about that the score was. My point is, Yuli. My point is if someone breaks the rule, that ultimately ends up losing them a tournament, wouldn't that be the same across the board? Like why is breaking one rule?
I hear what you're saying. Yes,
you see what I'm saying?
yes, I think I would do the same thing, but you can't, because if somebody break at that point, there's no way to give them back strokes. It's over.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I'm saying, like, my point is just, I don't know if that's a great argument saying you shouldn't want to win that way, because
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I don't know what other people say.
Oh, I wouldn't want to win that way either.
Yeah,
but
I'm saying that's what I would do. There's plenty of people out there who take that and they take it straight to the bank.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Gary. What are some people saying? What do we got?
Yeah, so you've got the I don't want to end a tournament by you missing a 6-footer. The big one that I've heard the most out of a lot of people who are talking disc golf. So we're talking about talking heads on shows and stuff, is like it worked out anyway because Val won anyway. And I hate that, because it's like a scapegoat argument of, well, we don't have to talk about this because the thing that happened and it all worked out. Another big one was that Ohn picked up the disc because she respected Val's game so much. That was another one. So there's just a lot of
this is where it just becomes people are deciding. And again, this is where it's tough, because if everyone's a referee and everyone's interpreting the rules differently, people are going to call it differently. And yeah, I mean, ultimately, none of us want to see, I think at the end of the day, we can all agree on this. No one wants to see that end a tournament. So let's remove it as a rule, or moving forward, no one touch someone else's disc that's not your disc. Right? Like, that's also, Yulia, an easy way to solve this problem. Don't touch a disc that's not your disc.
People do it all the time.
Or explain this in the pre
a live disc, Yulia.
Yeah.
A live disc.
Yeah, I explain this in the pre-playoff discussion too. Like, hey, we're playing hole 18. We're gonna play it on repeat.
100%.
You got to finish all your shots. Like, just help make sure that's clarified.
Touch each other's discs.
Yeah.
And I think this is hopefully is a wake up call for the PDGA though, to go through the rule book and start taking out words like intentionally, right? Like that should not be in the rule, because we don't have if we had third party referees, then it's fine. And if they were on every card, then it's fine. But we don't have third party referees. So some people are going to look at certain things intentionally and not look at things as intentionally.
And we have multiple referees, because typically in most sports, there is like a referee that tends to be the person who outweighs everybody else. And I get that some cards have marshals and some cards don't. But when you have like 3 other people who all, like you said, Brody, have different perspectives, where one voice of those 3 may not be technically the deciding voice. It just, there's too many people trying to decipher too many things. You know, when I used to do officiating back in the day, intent rules were always terrible, because we had to ask ourselves, like, what do we think was going to happen here? And ultimately, I always had to ask myself was, did the person who broke the rule, did they gain any advantage from what they did? And then ultimately, if the answer was no, did it affect the outcome of the game or the outcome of the particular situation they were in? And when you're thinking that much as an official, it's long gone the time that you should have been able to call that rule. We can't be asking players, I think, to think that much about every single circumstance. It's just
well, you're already thinking about your shot. You only have 30 seconds to throw your shot.
Exactly.
You know, you don't have enough time. So congrats to Val, though. Great win by her. If only we could have saw that coming somehow, would have been awesome. But great player in the woods. No surprise there. Awesome putter. And it ultimately ended up being a great win with her making that big putt at the end. So great moment for her, back in the winner's circle once again. And another player that sneaky could go back to back at Idlewild. Another really good course for her game. So shout out to Val. Congratulations. We do have some receipts from last Pick'em. It kind of went like this. Yuli says, let's pick Ella over Haley King. I then said, I'd rather take Val. Everyone says, good pick. Yuli then says, then take Val. Then I said, Haley King's ceiling is higher than Val's. Okay, let's take Haley. But if Val wins, I'll be pissed. Yuli says, I like Ella, dude. Brody says, okay, Ella. Yuli, we overthought last week.
We had a couple points in mind. You had all the points. Haley, I think, making her way back to the mountain, like where she belongs, with another top 10 finish. Pretty nuts little mountain you got there.
I'd be careful with your hot takes, especially when it comes to people like Adam Hammis. Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
Do you mean the guy who's won twice? Okay,
the guy who finished worse than Sully. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, and where did Sully finish?
Better than Adam.
Yeah, in the top 8 or whatever. Didn't think so. No, but we'll do better this week. I have a few people in mind.
Okay. So Griplock actually takes this one down. They get a couple points on us, 8 points on us. We're still leading by over 100 points throughout the season. But they were able to pick up some points picking Ohn, where we ended up picking Missy. So that's where they got their points against us this week.
A busted clock is right twice a day, so it's okay.
We have new point system too. Edwin, we have a new ladder. So we have Kristen now is not solo at the top. You now have Silva and Holland all in tier 1 worth $7. And then I think there was a couple other, I think Sully might have moved up. Is I think what he said. I can't remember exactly. But there's a couple other movements here with some other people. So going into Idlewild, who are we liking for FPO here?
Well, we have to take Ohn.
We did say we were going to take Ohn. So I think we're doing the 4-2-2 here.
I just think we have to take Missy.
Oh wait, we can take 2-4. Yeah, 2 4s and a 2.
Yeah.
Sorry, 4-4-2. I said the wrong thing.
We gotta take Missy, right?
Out of those groups at Idlewild, I like Missy the most as well, I think.
And then we get
I don't even think
we get
Evelina's here. Is
No.
Evelina playing this one?
No, Evelina.
Then we get a 2-ball, which is Val. That's
Yeah,
easy
you just
enough.
go Val again, right?
Yeah.
She's
Yep.
playing great. Why not?
Not
I mean,
sure
Cat
about
Merch also was kind of playing nasty,
Yeah,
but I like
Val.
Val. Okay, so we're locked in there. Ohn, Missy, and Val. I think that's a solid FPO pick this week.
Yep.
All right, MPO here at Idlewild.
We take Gannon.
Do we though at Idlewild? That's the
He
it's
won
like
last year.
I know, but
Oh
it's
no,
like
Joey won.
Joey won
okay.
last year.
Oh yeah.
Here's what my thought is with this one, Yuli, is I like 2 people a lot at this course for MPO. Or sorry, for the $4.
He likes Isaac.
I like Isaac a lot, and I
He
like
likes
Vinny.
Vinny.
Give me Calvin and Isaac.
All right, I'm down.
See, because the issue is I don't like as many people in the $2 and the $1. Because
Yeah.
if you go Gannon, I think you could potentially end up not getting another top 10 pick. Where if you go Calvin, Isaac, I think both those guys have a really good chance of winning or getting a top 10. And then we still get a $2 one.
Yeah.
Even though Buckets is in the $1. But it's like Idlewild is just a weird one, man. You get a couple bad kicks. Like it's anyone's ball game. Is that what you're thinking too? Do you like that? Oh, the other thing is we could go Paul over Calvin if you like that more.
I'll just speak my mind here. If I was picking for my own little team,
Sure,
I would go Gannon. Then I would go. I'm pretty sure
I think
might go Kyle
Ricky's
Klein.
still hurt, Frank.
I might go Kyle Klein, and then I'd probably pick Dickerson.
Now,
but I'm fine. I was bad picker last week, so
this is my thought process because winning gives you so many points.
Yeah, that's why I like it. It keeps the lead just.
Do you think you have a higher chance of picking the winner with Gannon, Kyle, and Chris Dickerson at Idlewild, or Isaac, Calvin, and like an Ezra Robinson?
Gannon's almost guaranteed a top
or an
3.
Adam.
It feels like at this point.
But first place is so much more, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You're better.
You think
you're better
those
off.
Guys, have you been watching Gannon play lately? Are we seeing the same thing?
Hear me out though. What I'm saying, if you think Gannon, because I think at that point you have to basically say Gannon is more likely to win at this tournament than Isaac, Calvin, and Ezra. If you are saying that, then let's roll with it.
I think for sure he is.
I think he is.
Okay, then let's roll with it.
But I think you can get a sneaky pick. Like I agree with you that Kyle Klein might be the sneakiest win.
You like Kyle over Ezra?
I do.
Yeah, as good as Ezra is, I don't know that this.
Kyle's almost won here.
Yeah.
The other sneaky one is Sully, just because there are a lot of really good forehand holes.
Yeah. I like Kyle. I told you my picks that I really like. You know what another sneaky one is? Down at the bottom in the $1 guy is Matty O. On a course like this could get really hot. I think
keeps
that
hitting fairways.
Buckets is a really good one. I think that
Paul Ulibarri fella.
Yeah, do you like your? I feel like your game here is translating.
I don't. No,
not feeling confident.
I'm trending in the right direction, but I'm not. It could be really good or it could be really, really bad.
Dang, a Marweed also could be nasty here.
He got 6th last year.
Marweed. Oh, can we go Marweed? Is Marweed $1?
Yes.
This is a putting course too. In the woods, you're gonna have so many like 30-footers. Yuli, can we go Marweed over Dickerson?
Over Dickerson, though. Yeah, we can. Fine,
Marweed's
do
been
it.
playing so good. Did he just get
has. I
another
played
top
with him.
10
He just
at?
beat my socks off, man. It
Yeah.
was crazy.
Let's go. Okay, so I'll give you Gannon and Kyle. Give me Marweed.
Okay.
All right. There we go.
There you go.
Gannon, Kyle, Marweed is our picks this week.
I just saved this lead is what I did. Guaranteed save. Because if you pick those guys and they just get 12 and then
You can't say
13th.
you saved us the league. What if freaking Isaac
I'm
and
saying if
Calvin
your
go
guys
1-2?
What? No,
Well,
I'm
then
saying
you
if
guys will
those
be
guys.
split, and I'll make the picks next week. Jeez.
No, I'm saying there's a possibility that you saved the picks and that I did. Like if Gannon wins and then your two guys get out of the top 12,
your picks are great.
and then it's just like.
But if Gannon gets 5th and then my two guys would have gotten 1st and 2nd, then we're in the bucket.
Yeah, we're in the bucket.
We're in the bucket. I got to give a shout out to Big Jerm. This dude constantly is in videos of aces, and it's never him. It's always someone else. But he had maybe one of the more epic aces this past week.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah, you got whip.
And what made that even better, Yuli, was the fact that it was the center basket.
We got the disc out of the basket. They just left it in there. And so I got basically any witnesses that were still remaining to get them to sign it. I never have witnesses sign my ace discs, but I'm usually the one that's witnessing everyone else's. So this is new for me. This is pretty cool, man. Yeah. A memory that I get to take home with me. Cool. From the Ledgestone.
That's what I think makes it even better, is because it was the actual basket, and then they had all the other tent baskets around.
You could add to the story too, because it was a sidearm off. He said, "Hey, Sully, I want a sidearm off," and they both got 2 of the same disc, and then he made it.
That's pretty sweet.
So he called out right now, I believe, the best sidearm in the game, and then does that.
That's sweet. Yeah, I mean he has the way he throws those flippy discs. It's fun to watch on those forehands. All right, Gary, you have a couple topics you wanted to run through?
Yeah, real quick, I had to ask because you did play with him, and he had a stellar final round. I want to make sure I shot him out. What'd you think of my boy Jesse Longenecker in that last round over there?
I'm gonna tell you something. I played with Ezra and him, and it was pretty.
Oh no, Gary!
Oh no!
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
You're about to get an awesome shout out for your boy,
Ugh.
and then Yuli just did you dirty like that.
There it goes.
I think his phone died. I'm gonna go with his phone died.
Most likely.
That's tough.
A couple topics I think worth mentioning is that we had Mr. Heinold, speaking of Ledgestone, he appeared on a couple different podcasts and talked about something very specific related to his future with the Global Board of Directors. Now he is making this upcoming year his last year on the Global Board of Directors. So he's going to be stepping down from his position and not returning, which is a pretty big deal in terms of the PDGA and decision and leadership. But I think one of the bigger stories is he talked about what he is kind of planning for next year's Worlds at, the courses up there at D-Glow, and how there's a lot of talk about how people like D-Glow or don't like D-Glow, and how his expectations of what he wants to do has changed since watching this year's Worlds and seeing the vast success that they had. And I wanted to share a couple of things that he mentioned. He said that the infrastructure spend for 2026 Worlds is going to be more than double of what we saw in Finland.
Wow.
Talking about things like double-decker infrastructure, glass atrium tents, more video boards, stadium seating at 5 different locations. And he's even going to have the purse being substantially higher. There's going to be 50 plus vendors, and he's got some big 30-page plan. And it kind of goes to one of the things that I was saying, that I really, really hope that this year's Worlds, I almost want to see some competition put between people of like, well, they put on a great Worlds. Well, we're not going to let them show us up. Our club's going to put on the best Worlds. And so I think it's really cool to see that. And he mentioned specifically, he's like, I had a plan in mind, and then I saw this year's Worlds. And so I decided to add to that plan. So excited to see what they do out there at Deglo, taking that, that course and really beefing it up and hopefully taking it and making it incredible worlds. But the double the infrastructure spend, that's kind of crazy to think about.
It might just be more expensive in the United States.
That's also very true.
It ends up being less things. It's just more expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I tell you, I said to my wife right away when I heard that, I'm like, man, I need to mark that down for next year. We can go out and be there for that event and get some, I don't know, do some media stuff for Tour Life while I'm out there. A couple other things. I think, if you want to go through them now, we can, or we can save it for later. We've got like the new updated rules that have been approved for 2026.
Let's do rules next week.
Sure.
Let's do those rules next week. Yeah.
Yep. But other than that, no, I mean, everything's good. I think it was a really, really great Ledgestone, seeing the event ran. And while there were a couple issues with some of the Fly Mart stuff related to Northwoods, it's probably one of the best Ledgestone events I've seen. And this is my 4th time going. So, no, that's about it. And I'll shout him out since Julie's not here to do it. But Jesse Longenecker, I think he has like 5 A-tier wins in the last several months. He won a major this year. Dude's a menace to be looked out for on tour. Just
keep a lookout. We have a couple questions here. First one coming in saying, do you think trying to make the professional feeling of golf is hurting audience/funding growth? I wonder if accepting the buddy hangout vibe of the sport's founding would bring in more sponsorship opportunities, beer companies, vape, cannabis, Manscaped, etc. NASCAR versus the PGA. I mean, I've been to a NASCAR event. Like, there's a lot of infrastructure there. There's a lot of, I don't really know
what people think it is.
Yeah, I don't really know what the question is asking. Oh, Yuli, you're back.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Long
my phone
necker.
died.
You're good.
Yeah. Dude, this kid is the truth. So I told you guys, I think earlier this year, Harry Chase was going to be really good. And I think he's probably going to end up winning Rookie of the Year on the Pro Tour. So the pick was good. This guy was impressive all the way around. There was not, I mean, Ezra and I were literally sitting there in the round looking at each other being like, dude, he's good. Like, to each other, like, Ezra looked at me and goes, I think he's the best player I've ever seen at one point, because we were sitting there just having a good time. And to top it off, man, it's a good kid.
Yeah.
Like, really, really good kid. I was impressed on multiple fronts with Jesse. He instantly got a fan in me.
Is he playing more events this week? This year?
He's playing this weekend.
Okay, nice.
Yep.
What Gary, do you know his plans for like the future?
I know he's obviously trying to get his college and stuff done, but he wants to lean into disc golf really, really hard. And I think we're going to be seeing more of him on tour in the future, because it feels like every single year. I mean, I've been here in Lancaster for a while, so I've gotten to watch him play. There's a lot of talented people in the Lancaster area coming up, but it feels like every year he just gets better and better and better. And it's super astonishing to watch him play. But yeah,
he's got that extra little. He's got the extra little bit that you look for. Like, he has it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's impressive.
We need to get him on a feature card. Yeah, his final round, he shot what, 10, 9 under or something?
10 under with like 2 bogeys or something.
Was it 10 under? Yeah.
Missing 2 putts.
I think that's where like the second feature card would be awesome to kind of start throwing in. Like, it's not like I don't want the pity people. Like, I don't want like, oh, let's give this guy a feature card. Like, start throwing in some of these young guys, like you said, that are impressive to watch.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Good, man.
Yeah,
like,
Frank mentioned it in the comments here. One of the things people don't know about this is that Jesse, his brother Nathan passed away from brain cancer in 2021, and Jesse promised him that he would play college disc golf for his brother and went on to win the collegiate major.
Wow.
And it's a really cool thing. We have a big memorial for him at one of our local courses, one of the older courses in the United States. Just really cool. He's a very, very wonderfully talented young man, but a very nice young man, and I think he's going to be making a
Did his
splash.
brother kind of introduce him to disc golf?
I believe so. There's a lot of them playing disc golf together, and it's a really wonderful story, wonderful family.
Wow.
Yeah, it was cool though. The way he was talking about it, he was like, "Dude, this is my first pro tour." And I'm like, "What?" Like, there's people
I'm
like
just
you
gonna
out
come
there.
out here and shred.
And he was just like, "Dude, I can't believe I'm playing on a card with you. Like, this is kind of crazy to me." And he's just while he's saying this, just absolutely killing us. And there was a funny moment. We get on hole 5, and he shows me a disc. He's like, "Oh, you might like this disc," and it's like an old D1. And I'm like, that's an old good one. That's one of the good ones. And then I grabbed it and I looked on the rim because all the old Prodigy at one point would like pass through my fingers, pretty much the good stuff. And I'm like, yeah, this used to be mine. And my name was like kind of crossed out. And he's like, "There's no way." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, right there." He's like, "I had no idea." And it was a kind of a funny moment.
That's awesome. All right, let's end it with this question. It was a great podcast tonight. Awesome. Shout out to both our guests, both world champs coming on, Gannon and Ohn. But let's end it with this question. Should junior players that have aspirations of eventually being a Pro Tour player, we're kind of just talking about one right now, be able to hear more from those lower tiered players that are struggling to remain on tour and hear their stories or their struggles? The junior players are the future of disc golf. So I think this question is asking us, do we need to get maybe a mid to lower tier player that might be going through some struggles of touring? Do we need to get these players on the podcast to kind of talk about how different their touring life is versus, the Gannon Buhrs of the world?
Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the cool thing about our platform is we have the access to be able to do that and to get those stories out there. So I like the suggestion, and I think that would be a great podcast.
Yeah, maybe we can try to do a podcast specific for that. We get like 2 or 3 people that are kind of in that mid-tier where, maybe living out of their van and just kind of seeing like what life is like and how they're doing it. That'd be cool. All right, we'll try a brainstorm maybe after the later this week or something on who would be good for that. Yuli, got anything else for the people? Vessi, shout out Vessi.
Yeah, shout out Vessi, man. Vessi.com/Yuli, get yourself 10% off. It's right down there in the corner, and we'll have that link in the description. But
outside the rubber ducky, they probably had the best branding I've seen so far with the big shoe in the
it was cool,
lake.
man. That was really cool. The floater, man. And then I got these hats at another round. You can go check those out. Those dropped. I'm pretty sure we have a couple left. So, no, man, everything's good on my end. I'm looking forward to the week. Had a good practice round this morning with Big Jerm and Gannon at Idlewild. Like I said, games feels like it's trending. I'm very close and excited for another tournament. What about you, Brody? How's the game feeling?
I took today off just because.
Let's get a practice round. We haven't done it. You bailed on me last week. You invited me, then bailed.
To be fair, I probably should have played Eureka twice and not Northwood. If I could go back in time, I was thinking in my head, like, oh, Eureka, I'm fine. It's open. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I was like, I need more time at Northwood. If I could go back in time, Yuli, I would 100% would have played with you. But yeah, no, I'm down. I'm going to get a practice round tomorrow. I'm going to get one practice round Wednesday and Thursday. So whatever day you want to do it.
Thursday, let's do it.
Thursday, let's do it. No, but yeah, game's feeling good. The biggest thing I think that's going to change for me outside of the actual game is I've been in such a heavy calorie deficit. And for those that have ever been in one, it is over a certain period of time, it is tough. And to try to continue to run, lift, and now on top of that, play disc golf, I think it was just very, very taxing on my body. But I've got to the
tough week to do it.
I got to the number last week that I wanted to get to. I got to the number on Sunday, actually. So I'm officially no longer in a calorie deficit. So I am now eating 32 to 3,500 calories instead of like 2,400. So I'm hoping that will make me feel I got a little bit more juice in the tank than, during these 4-hour rounds. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I like Idlewild a lot, man. It's a fun course.
Yeah.
A lot of really fun shots. And you know me, I love scrambling with those zones. And there's a lot of good testy lento shots. A lot of testy lentos. So gonna be busting out the zone SS a couple times as well. But yeah, that's all I got. Gary, you got anything for the people?
I just want to say to everyone who came up, gave me a fist bump, said hi, had a staring contest with me at Ledgestone. I really appreciate it. It goes a long way, and love seeing everybody.
Love it. All right. Thank you guys so much. PG and Mike, thank you for running everything with all our guests and everything. And we'll see you guys next week.